Welcome everybody, I'm Darth Goku, and today we're going to take another look at the Night Sisters. This time was just against Traya herself. This is when Sion and Nihilus are dead, and this is just, well, the same version of the other tactic, but it's a lot more simpler to watch, as there's a lot less going on, and you can kind of tell a little bit more about how I'm keeping the turn meter under control here. First thing you're going to do again, just like in the other version, is to knock your protection down. So keep going as hard as you can and as fast as you can, just to knock down your protection and get it so that you're gaining turn meter on heals. Don't particularly have to worry about the isolate too much, because eventually she'll just kill off zombie and remove the isolate herself. Isolate becomes a bit troublesome later on when you get into enrage, but that's pretty much game over once you enter enrage anyway, so you want to try and keep it out of enrage as long as possible. And if you have a look, coming up here at 9 turns now, this is probably my best run, my best part of the run, is where I've managed now to, with many heals, keep the turn meter down on Traya and keep the turn meter up on Talia. Every time Talia drops below 100% turn meter, like now, I'll look to use a heal with somebody else, and here we go, I'll duck his heal, and now Talia's back to 100% turn meter. Once again, she needs a heal again, and we'll be looking for a Sarge's heal, and probably going to remove the stacks here on Traya. Yep. And back to looking for another heal on Talia. It's just a matter of RNG really, because sometimes you will use up all your heals before they regenerate, and it just comes down to RNG, and that's just how the game rolls. But if you know the tactic, eventually you're going to get a pretty decent run here, and it's not as high scoring as the other parts of the Night Sisters, but I don't know many teams in Phase 4 here that can actually score very well at all against Traya herself, because she just starts stacking unbelievable amounts of speed, and she goes into topple very, very quickly. Which is why this team works so well, because if you can manage to keep that turn meter under control like we have here, because we're still sitting on 9 on her cooldowns to enrage now. But if you have a look at, so I lose this very quickly, and she starts taking turns a lot quicker because of her speed stacking so very, very high. But if RNG is your friend in this, there's potential for a lot more damage there. If you can keep these heals on a good roll here, and keep Talia's turn meter at 100%. We did go for a fair while here, a very long time, but eventually we'll lose it. And she's going to take a turn very, very shortly now, because we've got no heals left. Everyone's down to 50% turn meter, and she has to take a turn. And if you have a look, from this point on, it doesn't go as well, but we do manage to get a lot more damage in here. It ends up being about 20% of Traya herself, and in tier 6, phase 4, pushing that last bit along isn't very easy, because she stacks that speed very quickly, and she managed to kill off many teams very, very quickly. I don't know many other teams that do very, very well in this phase at all. There used to be one where you'd use your clones, but they nerfed that one on us pretty quickly. And I think it was probably fair because you shouldn't be able to survive with one health for very, very long, which is how that tactic worked. It used a taunt and the standalone buff or whatever it is there. Not the standalone. It's the blue defense down buff anyway. Defense up, whatever that's called again. Yeah, we did alright here to keep the turn meter down. But as you see, she just starts taking turns and there's not much stopping her when she gets on a roll. Now, one good thing about Traya though is in this phase, for some reason, she her cooldown to enrage isn't correct. It gets down to 0 and she just keeps going without actually entering enrage. As you'll see, she probably has 2 or 3 more turns after it gets down to 0, and she just doesn't actually enter enrage until about the 3rd or 4th hit afterwards. Which is good news for me, enabled me to get a little bit more damage in before she kills everyone off. But I'm not sure what the go is there, whether it's a glitch or there's something I'm not actually seeing. Maybe it has something to do with her cooldowns on Isolate or something like that. Sorry about my sniffles here, it's a little bit cold where I am at the moment and my nose started running this morning, which is great news for me. Hopefully there's no cold coming, but you know, you get that. The chickens are going well for anybody that's wondering. They're doing pretty well, they're accustomed. The dog has started leaving them alone. He is very interested in them, but he's not an aggressive dog, so I hope everything's going to be okay there. Soon we're going to get another pen within the next 4 days, and we'll move them into their new home and get them used to the yard and get the dog used to the chickens. I've picked a few favourite names that I've seen pop up. I like Princess Leia, Hen Solo. What else did we have? Money Henny, and I did like Nugget as well, but I don't want to name them after food because I'm hoping I'm not jinxing them into my dog eating them. But you get that. Poor chickens. Yeah, so she has one cooldown on Enrage here, and for some reason, she doesn't actually enter Enrage. So, if anybody knows why this is, or whether it's just a glitch and she doesn't choose to do it, my battery was running low there, and it always causes my game to pause. Which reminds me, I better plug the battery in while I'm commentating, the charger into the battery. Alright. I actually go for a fair bit longer here. You don't last very long once you enter Enrage because the stacks on Traya really hurt and it stops any healing actually coming into effect. Especially now once the buff immunity comes into play as well. Zombie will no longer taunt and the isolate will land on somebody else. I'm pretty sure it's I'll duck her in a minute. And that'll kill off that character without any chance of reviving. Only zombie can come back from an isolate. His revival is not preventable. I think that's how they worded it. In other words, there's nothing that can stop him from being revived. Not Nihilus, not Traya, not Isolate, not Deathmark, or anything along them lines. Zombies revival cannot be prevented. We're about to enter Enrage here, and we've done nearly 20%. And you'll see something pretty funny just as we get to the end here. I won't spoil it. It's a bit of RNG for you, and sometimes you get the good luck, and sometimes you get some bad luck. So the bad luck here is she isolates Mother Townsend, so prevents any chance of revival coming up when other people start dying off. Because Traya also has a nice habit of once she has isolated somebody, she will focus that person until they're dead. Straight up, kills her off. And lucky we have the revivals come from Zombie there, and we have one more from Zombie. And here comes my bit of good luck from my RNG. Doesn't last for too long, but it lasts for long enough. And here we go. She just keeps hitting Zombie away there and giving me extra attacks, which is great for me. But she decided that's the end of you. Die. Oh well, that happens. The score run here is 3.3 million. I'm Darth Goku. Have a good night, everyone.